Hey up everybody, welcome back to the Audio Cycling YouTube channel. God, it feels so good to say that. And welcome to a new season of Velogames 2024. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Tour Down Under, the first race of the warm-up series. George has been putting out plenty of tweets. We've got a whole kind of warm-up series here with some new additions. And yeah, just welcome to a new season of Velogames. We're going to be giving some advice today as to who you should be picking for your Tour Down Under team. I am going to put the league code up on screen right now, and I'm also going to put it in the description. And if you don't follow me on Twitter at Paddy Blake, then I'll also put it up on there. And if you don't follow me, then you may as well, because then you'll get alerted as to when I send out videos. Also, it's worth noting this year that there's going to be some bonus content. If you guys liked the long form style of content I did for the Grand Tours, if you were around for those sorts of videos, then I'm going to be doing that, but with other people. So hang around for that. It's going to be like a Velogames podcast style thing, and I'm really excited about that. So be sure to subscribe and hang around for that. That should be coming out in the next couple of days. Really excited for that new addition to Audio Cycling this year. But let's talk about the Tour Down Under. So we've got the Simon Yates, of course. He's the most expensive rider. I can't help but feel like I've shot myself in the foot because I've been talking about this guy over on like the Cycling Dane channel, which I sometimes guest on, and I was talking about Yates winning, but he was the winner. Well, he didn't win last year, won the final stage, but he was on the podium, so I think Yates makes a lot of sense at 26. Is he going to win? It's quite likely. The bookies say that he's probably going to win, so he's probably a good one to be having on your team. No quarrels there. Alaphilippe, I think, is a great shout for like stage 2 and stage 6. Wollonga Hill, maybe not, but he is like clearly the leader for Soudal Quickstep here, so I think there's no reason to be not picking Alaphilippe unless you need to kind of balance your credits a little bit. And I'd probably, take a knee on Alaphilippe than Simon Yates personally. Alaphilippe will be a great shout if he can find that kind of Dauphiné form from last year. He'll be a fantastic addition. Stage hunting, GC, the whole lot. Plapp is a bit of a question mark. He DNF'd the Down Under Classic, the crit today, and I know don't want to read too much into crit results, but yeah, he DNF'd that, which I don't really know why yet, and he just he flopped for this race last year, and after looking really good beforehand, so I am just a little bit wary about him now. I think that Yates is probably the designated leader, but Plapp is certainly a good secondary, but I'd be more tempted to pick some other riders who I'll talk about later. Caleb Ewan isn't a good pick. And I could go into the maths. I did a lot of calculations at the end of last year at stage races because I always talk about 100 points per credit in the Grand Tours, but I never really had it for any of these week-long stage races. You're generally looking at you wanting to hit at least 30 points per credit, and Caleb Ewan will have to hit 480 points. You get 150 per stage win, so he needs to win the free sprints. Then, he'll get some assists and stuff along the way. But basically, his chances of hitting 30 points per credit is pretty low. So I would stay away from Ewan. Ulissi, maybe not. UAE do say that he's the leader for the team. But there is Del Toro here as well. So Ulissi's kind of a maybe not. Take it or leave it. I'd say that Ewan and Ulissi are kind of in a similar bracket. The 16 credits, I just don't think of that great value for money this year, to be honest with you. That's just my take on it. Bauhaus was the fastest sprinter in the crit. He was the first of the kind of the non-breakaway group. So in theory, Bauhaus, he always, and I think he won a stage last year. So Bauhaus is good at Down Under. Ganna's not bad. Is he going to do good in GC? Maybe. It depends how he hangs on up Wollonga Hill. But I do think that Ganna, Ineos lack that GC leader, I think, this year. Ganna could certainly be that. Guerrero, I think, is a fine shout. I think that he could really be one of those that comes out of the woodwork and, bags you basically like that differential pick. But I'm unwilling to pick him based upon how he was with Movistar last year. Welsford is a fast sprinter. No reason to not pick him, to be honest. He's got a good lead out. Finfisher Black. Again, with Ulissi and Del Toro here, it's kind of hard to say who they're going to be going with. Finfisher Black, I would love to see him do well here. I'm a big fan of his, but 12 credits is quite a lot for somebody who's never really been proven over like GC in a stage race. Binney, again, good shout. He could also maybe make it over stage 2, so he could get that additional stage to kind of sprint for. Haig's not bad. We haven't seen much of him. Harper, I think, is really good, actually. Harper, it wouldn't surprise me if he just pulled out an insane performance and Alula will have in those kind of Mount Lofty stages where other leaders are isolated. They might have Plapp, Yates and Harper could be that guy who just sends it and nobody chases him down. So Harper probably don't overlook as just a domestique. He could certainly play another part. Navarez won the criterion, but I think that's just a red herring, to be honest with you. Like I ain't, that's bait is what that is. I ain't picking Navarez. I don't trust that. Only on the other hand, I think is really good. Again, he's got the fastest time up like Wollonga Hill on Strava. Again, you don't want to read too much into that, but it's good. It's a good sign. He was in the breakaway in the crit as well. Apparently, he's had a really good winter according to DSM's press release. So we'll wait and see. I think Onley is a really good shout. Strong again, just another good sprinter for you to be picking. Varda will be the GC leader for Visma Lisa bike, but there is also Stauner Mittet somewhere else further down. We'll get to him later. Varda's not bad. Like, he'll probably finish top 10. People are reading a lot into the Gritor Huangshi that he won last year. It's not exactly like for like, but, it's pretty similar. Van Poppel, I mean, it's not going to be like the Tour of Britain where he's just out sprinting Bennett. He's going to be leading out Welsford, so I don't think Van Poppel will be that great. Stephen Williams and George Bennett, and they also have Nick Schultz as their like GC Tridente. We all know how El Tridentes go all the time. They always go so fantastically well, don't they? That's irony, by the way. Please take that on board. I'm apprehensive to pick any of them, really, because you don't know who they're going to be going with. I would love to see George Bennett do well. He could finish on the podium, but we just haven't seen enough of him to really warrant that. Batistella, on the other hand, I think is the leader for Kazakhstan and will do well in a very similar kind of like Alaphilippe-esque kind of rider, but maybe just like a B-tier version of him. Ivan Garcia Cortina is a sprinter. We're getting more into like better value for money riders here. Piffy, I think, is a good sprinter. He was the second fastest sprinter in the Down Under Classics. I like Piffy. He's taken a little bit of a price increase from last year, from like 8 credits up to 10, and he'll need to hit 300 points, so he needs to average like 3rd place in the sprint. So how likely is that to happen? Maybe not too likely. Quinn Simmons, I reckon this guy will be winning like KOM classification for sure. I don't think Lidl Trek have like a big GC or sprint player here, and I think that Simmons could get him a break. Viviani, I think people might sleep on, but if you look at their team, they've got Ganna, Tarling, Ben Swift, Leo Hayter, Lawrence de Plus, Navarez. I might be missing somebody else, but Viviani's got a really strong lead out. Like, he's got Ganna and Josh Tarling as lead out men. Like, that's an insane lead out, and I think Viviani is one to not be slept on. I'm very much considering putting him on my team. 8 credit riders. Del Toro, of course, the name on everybody's lips, was 3rd in the Down Under Classic. And yeah, you might not want to read too much into that, but that does show that Del Toro is, sharpening his teeth. He was, capable of navigating the World Tour peloton. And, the last time that UAE said we're leading with this Italian rider was the 2019 Vuelta a España, where they said they were riding for Fabio Aru, and then Pogacar went and came 3rd, didn't he? So you'll have to forgive me for believing that they'll actually go for Ulissi and not the slightly obscure nation up-and-coming young gun. Like, it's exactly the same thing that's happening again. So I'm probably going to pick Del Toro. I really like that. Hodge is making a bit of a comeback, but I think that he's a little bit undercooked and probably not like the best choice. Leapins will be the sprinter for DSM. There is Bittner as well, but they say that Leapins will be their sprinter. McClay was good in the Down Under Classic, probably a decent shout as well there. Morgado, I'd be picking Del Toro over Morgado any day of the week, to be honest with you. Stana Mittet, maybe not. They do have Varda, like we said, and Cone Bauman and stuff, so Stana Mittet is a kind of take it or leave it. If you like the young guns, go with it. Tarling, again, a bit of a red herring. I don't know what he's going to do here. I think that Ineos will probably just use him as a domestique, to be honest with you. However much I'd love to see him do more than that. Van Tricht and Zimmerman, probably not. 6 credit riders, Bittner, like I said, might be the sprinter for DSM, but I would expect them to be going with Leapins, so probably avoid him. Other 6 credit riders, there are some decent ones, but maybe you want to avoid some of them. There's Piet Alligart and, what's his name, Milan Fletin for Cofidis, and both of them could be the sprinter. It could be either of them, to be honest with you. If you want another sprinter, probably go with them. Gazzoli, do you remember him from Tour of Norway last year where he was really popping off? Of course, that's the Tour of Norway. It's a different kettle of fish, but he'd be good for like a stage 2, I think. Leo Hayter, super good as a GC rider in the under 23 ranks, but fell short a lot last year for some reason. I think he was injured or ill or combinations of whatever. Hayter I would love to see do well and could be that super good 6 credit rider that not many people pick, like 5% of people pick him. But he could also just end with like 40 points and get you very little. So kind of go with him with an air of caution. Juanpe might be the GC leader for Lidl Trek. It's not bad for 6. Valentin Palipentler was the best rider for AG2R in the Down Under Classic. And I think that he could be a little bit like a top 20 GC sort of prospect rider. He had some decent results last year, so we'll wait and see if he can do something like step up a little bit this year. Tesfazion, second in the crit. Not a bad shout for stage 2 or stage 6. That's my take on it. I don't think he'll do much in like GC. If you want a real rogue one, Liam Walsh, just for Australia, is actually not too bad. He was 6th place in the men's elite like national road race, which I know was a whitewash. It was absolutely blown away by Jacob Alula, but the fact that he is like a continental rider, finished 6th place, is pretty insane. 4 credit riders. There is one rider in here as a 4 credit rider, which if you don't pick, I am going to be incredibly disappointed in you. Okay, so don't just tune out just yet. Ballestead, probably the sprinter for Alpecin, more than likely. Think back to, do you remember the sprint which Dainese won at the Vuelta at the end last year? The one where was that crash. Ballestead finished 6th in that sprint, so he's pretty good as a flat sprinter. Hill Helders, not a bad one. He was 5th in the Down Under Classic, and he'll probably just be a domestique, but you never quite know. 4 credits, you may as well just kind of go with somebody a little bit interesting if you want to. Antoine Hubie, again, another interesting French up-and-coming puncher talent. Jackson Medway is the under 23 Australian TT champ, so he's clearly got a good bit of form around him at the moment, so that's one to be going with. Archie Ryan, this is the one. If you don't pick Archie Ryan as your 4 credit rider, what are you doing? Because he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best 4 credit rider. This is like when Van Zevenant was 4 credits in Basque Country about 2 years ago. You need to be picking Archie Ryan. Simple as that. And other than that, Virgilito is not bad. Probably the best GC rider for Alpecin. He went through their Zwift Academy thing. And I think he came top 10 in a stage of Tour of Luxembourg last year, which was won by Tobias Haaland Johannesson. So yeah, go with him, I think, as well as another 4 credit rider. Him and Archie Ryan are the best ones, in my opinion. Outside of them, probably you want to be going with either Hill Helders or Ballestead. That's my take on it. This is my team at the moment. Battistella and George Bennett are kind of interweaving at the moment. It could be either one of them. Only I really think is good value at 12. Alaphilippe and Yates like main guys. Viviani is really the only sprinter here, because sprinters never seem to perform particularly well in stage races for some reason. Del Toro is the exciting young gun, and then filling out with 4 credit riders. So that's pretty much it. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already, because I think there are some new people coming into Velogames kind of every year. So hang around. We've got the Velogames, like the first episode of the Velogames podcast coming out tomorrow on, it's getting uploaded as a video. So be sure to subscribe and hang around for tomorrow. And all that is left to say, I have to try and remember what the outro is. All that is left to say is to stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Salut!